So we're going to transition the discussion a little bit into a discussion with the veteran members of the team-based model. So it's a pleasure to have everyone here. And when I did the poll discussion, it was the #1 requested thing was to have a conversation with more experienced advisors in the model. And so here we are. It's a pleasure to introduce Justin Munt, Stephen Burgess, and Kate Seastone. So welcome the three of you. Thank you so much for taking an hour to spend with us this afternoon. Let's see if we can hear everyone's audio. Kate, we'll start with you.
Good afternoon, Anton.
Loud and clear, perfect. Mr. Burgess?
Hey, good afternoon, Anton, and good afternoon, everyone there.
Very good. And Justin Munt?
Hello, everyone.
All right, we got audio, we got video, so this is fun. I've had an opportunity to spend a lot of time in person with Justin and Stephen and Kate, and this is the first time we'll be doing a virtual panel discussion here. So thank you for, like I said, carving out some time. I've got a couple questions that I look forward to just getting your insight and feedback on, and then we'll see what questions maybe the community has for you this afternoon. If I could just go ahead and maybe start with an introduction. Why don't we start on the West Coast and then we'll move east. So Stephen, that would be you first, since I know you're in California. If you don't mind just introducing yourself for anybody that might not know you, where you're located, how long you've been working with ERT, and why don't we start there? We'll kind of go around and then ask the questions.
Great. Hello, everyone. I'm Stephen Burgess. I've been an advisor licensed since 1992, started with Dean Witter, worked through the Morgan Stanley merger, and left them in April of 2008 to start on my own as a retirement income planning specialist. I've had my 7 and my 66. Since that time, I let my 7 lapse in 2016 and am now just Series 65. I've been with ERT since October of 2014. So coming up on 6 years here. And it's been a great run, great organization. I'm located in North Orange County in the Buena Park, Fullerton, La Mirada area. I guess La Mirada is in LA County. I'm right at the border. And I have 4 CPA relationships, 2 of which are local and 2 of which are virtual only.
Very good. So a couple of interesting things you touched on, which we can maybe circle back to, one of which is licenses, because we got that question earlier. And you also touched on the virtual aspect of working with CPAs, the in-person aspect. And I'll turn it over to Kate in a second. But one of the interesting things I think that's different between the 3 advisors we have is how they've approached working with the model with their own client base versus developing CPA relationships. And so we'll get into a little bit of that discussion as well. So Kate, I'm heading east from LA and I'm running into Arizona. Maybe a introduction of yourself and we'll go from there.
Excellent. Thank you, Anton. And Stephen, it was great to hear your history there. I am located in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area, so over in Arizona. And I got into the business in 2004. So pretty much I've always been on the financial planning side as a certified financial planner and an MBA. So that was kind of where my history was. I had a lot of business owners came into conflict with CPAs when I was trying to give them strategies. And so I started looking for solutions. And I found a lot of the solutions or CPA type partnering platforms were really about getting referrals. And I knew that that wasn't a partnership with a CPA. That wasn't going to make a difference in trying to help my clients. And so when I came across Elite, I actually talked to a few people and found that this was the program where I can truly elevate what I provide not only to my existing clients, but also to the CPAs. So it's been an absolute joy. I've been involved with Elite since January, I think, of last year. So about 1.5 years. And it's been absolutely phenomenal. In fact, over the lunch break, I met with a prospective CPA and he's excited about what we're able to provide and do for him. So I have CPAs that are both local as well as remote. I'm bringing a new gentleman on from Texas. So it's a great, I'm finding even with where we are today, I'm actually finding CPAs to be more open to what we're doing. So I think that it's just a phenomenal opportunity because it's not referral, it's teaming with them and providing a planning division.
Love it. Well said. Justin, we're heading east. We're running into you. Where are you located? Little background, how long we've been working together, all that good stuff.
Well, my office is in Southeast Minnesota, small town. I think we've got about 4,500 people in this little town. But we have some larger towns nearby that we work with clients out of. And a little bit about me, I'm an insurance agent, financial advisor, got into the business in 2009. And I started working with ERT November of 2016 is when I went to my first meeting. And shortly after that started to look for CPA firms to work with. Interviewed 50 firms and currently work with 2. Those 2 firms are small. One firm is a husband-wife. They own that together, and then the other firm they have 3 partners. And I consistently work with 2 of those partners weekly. And then on the other firm, I consistently work with the husband. So really 3 CPAs that I spend most of my time with on a weekly basis. And let's see. Yeah, I mean, that's the long and short of it.
Love it. Question for you, Justin. I want to kind of talk about, the good, the bad, the ugly, and all that good stuff that I think not only will fire up. We had 260 people registered, but not only motivate people, but I also want to kind of give them the truth of the model and the experience and what to expect. So from your perspective, we'll talk about the good in a minute. Maybe we can layer it as part of the same question. What's been harder than what you expected it to be? And then what's been more exciting or more rewarding than you expected?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the hardest thing for me is the brake pedal. I joked in today's, because we do bi-weekly trainings with other firms. And I joked today, I said, our relationship is like when you go to a hot rod event and there's lots of classic cars and they have a burnout contest, right? Well, in order to do a successful burnout, you need to hold your foot on the gas pedal and your foot on the brake pedal at the same time. And I feel like I'm the guy holding my foot on the gas pedal, and they're the people holding their foot on the brake pedal for most of what we're working on. So, working together, we get a lot done and we help a lot of people. But we kind of laughed about that. I think the most frustrating thing for me is, I'm used to being in charge and getting things done, and on my time clock, well, the CPA has a totally different time clock, and it's their client, so they're in control of how fast we move. And although it can be frustrating at times, we're slowly getting things done and helping their clients do some amazing things.
Yeah, so really highlighting from a harder than you expected perspective, there's the difference in a time frame between the advisor's mindset and the CPA's mindset. And you have to kind of appreciate and respect that out the gate. And what about what you found more exciting or more rewarding, perhaps, than you thought when you joined us in 2016?
I didn't even know that there were clients out there that were as big as the ones that I'm working with. I didn't realize that these people existed in this area. But the CPAs that I work with have relationships with people that have 20 and 30-year relationships with folks that are doing numbers that I couldn't even imagine. And to have that trust transfer when the CPA says, you should work with one of my team members, Justin. We're going to help you as a team solve this problem. And now that's one of the most amazing things. They instantly trust me, and the CPA is leveraging longtime trust that they've built and allowing me to take advantage of that. And it's fantastic.
Well said. Stephen, I saw you nodding your head a little bit. Maybe I'll go to you with the same kind of questions. What's been harder than you expected that you think the other members should be aware of going into it with open eyes? And then also what's been either more exciting or more rewarding perhaps than you anticipated?
Hey, I fully agree with what Justin said, and I really liked his analogy of the burnout. Completely understand the 2 foot of driving. That's a pretty cool way to put it. But my challenge has been exactly that. I come at a level of knowledge and experience of the strategies that the CPA doesn't have. I have a sales perspective that a lot of CPAs just don't have. They're not salesmen. They're there to do the best thing for their client, take as much time as they possibly need. And it's almost like being a perfectionist, and the sales aspect of it just really doesn't fit into the equation. And so learning how to moderate my drive and my push to be able to work at their pace and educate along the way has been the challenges. But it's really, really, really fun and exciting and rewarding when it all comes together. Today's an exciting day for me. Something's coming together well. It's just one of those things. And when Justin says, you know, it's odd to be working with these people with all that money, that was my biggest challenge when I was a financial advisor working at a wirehouse, is that I would go out and I would meet these people and they'd say, okay, I've got to talk to my CPA. Oh, would you set it up for me to talk to him? You never get to talk to him that way. And then the next thing you know, the CPA just says no, even though you know that everything you're doing is the right thing for your client, what the CPA says matters. And so now having that CPA on my side, and you're sitting in the meeting room and you present the idea and the strategy, and the client looks at the CPA and the CPA says yes, and then the check is written and the document signed, is a great feeling. So I totally agree with what Justin said. And for me, I have a life that's not just focused on work. I've got a personal life as well. And it's great that I'm able to choose, to pick and choose the times that I want to work with people and when I don't. And that makes it better for me as well. So having the CPA there, and when he needs me, I'm able to be there. And when he doesn't need me, I don't have to be there. It is just great because it's his relationship to manage. All I'm doing is working on the solutions that we've discussed and planned out. So excellent.
Perfect.
Kate, any thoughts from your perspective?
Well, I will ditto the challenges that both these gentlemen mentioned, because it's interesting, and they'll get caught up in dates because it's what they fall back onto. That's easy for them to fall back into their traditional habits, and it's constantly learning how to be a better leader and bring them along is probably one of the biggest challenges, because they're slow to make the decision. They don't have a time frame, and you know, when some of these solutions do have time frames, it's trying to get them and push them along the line is probably the biggest challenge. And I love your analogy, Justin. That was great. In terms of some of the best things that I think is, you know, our mission is to impact and improve the financial lives of others. And by using this methodology, we are able to do that not only with our own clients, but now we're able to branch out and reach more people. Like Justin mentioned, you're reaching a great audience that can really use the services that we're able to provide on the Elite platform. And we're able to not only improve the CPA's lives, but also all of their clients as well. So that's one of the things that I really like about this particular program.
Yeah. Can I butt in too? I mean, fantastic, Kate. You know, I'm filling out a life insurance application right now, and it's a referral from a client that we helped. You know, like Anton says, people of, you know, birds of a feather flock together, and this referral that we got was from a large client that did some big stuff with us. And so now filling out another life insurance application for yet another big deal there's just the opportunity once you've got the relationship built with the trusted advisor, and you can show that we've got the strategies that can really help these clients. I mean, I'm just really excited about where this is going.
That story, if it's the one I'm thinking of, where the new client came in, and this is the type of client where most of us as advisors would consider it kind of a career opportunity or career case. The client comes in, and what does the client say to you and the CPA?
He said, "Do to me what you did to my friend John." And whatever that was that he was telling me about at the golf course, I want that. Can you
Was
do
it
that?
literally at the golf course?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Football game, golf course, it's all.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's many better situations to be teed up in a new introduction to than that right there.
It's funny you say that. Just to add my little 2 cents to that, I'm in the same type of situation with career size cases where one business partner came because he has a tax issue and ends up being a large life insurance policy. And guess what? On the 18th, we meet with the business partner for the same thing because he heard about it from his partner and wants the same thing. Another large, even larger policy that's going to be done. So it just happens that way, and no one went in selling life insurance. It's not about the product, it's about the process and helping the people reach their goals.
Yep. I love it. I love it. I see a couple questions about what we consider a large. I think what they're referencing right now, the ones that at least I know of, are mid 6-figure target premiums, some even larger than that, to the high 6 figures of target premium. Is that accurate, or am I exaggerating that?
One I have is 438, the other is illustrated at 677.
Love it. Very nice. So here's an interesting question right now. So far, we're talking about kind of the relationship with the accountant, which is obviously a big part of what we discuss. But this morning I talked as well about the impact that we also hope to have on advisors we work with when it comes to just the way you're also servicing your own clients and the conversations you're having with prospects, introducing you to new specialists or new maybe concepts that you didn't know of existed before. Could any of you speak to how working with this model has impacted the relationships with your own clients or prospects?
I mean, definitely. I've got some clients that are successful business owners that I've pitched some really great solutions to. I have a lot better luck with the CPAs clients than I do with my own. And I think there's a lot to be said about having your CPA tell you to do something versus your financial advisor or your insurance agent do something. There's just a different level of trust. The CPA is their most relevant, their most trusted advisor. And so I have a lot better luck after the trust has been transferred from the CPA. But yeah, a couple of my clients have benefited from the strategies that I've learned in this process, and we've done some great things with them too.
Yeah, and I'll follow up on that in terms of we've been able to take a lot of solutions that we wouldn't necessarily have access to because of our relationship with Elite. We are able to provide a little bit more solutions to a lot of our clients, which has been phenomenal. They're very receptive to it, and I like the fact that we can actually create even more value for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I came from a book of business that was built on recent retirees and soon to be retirees that were really W-2 people that had large 401ks. That was what my target was. So I had to change the model of business that I work with once I found that this was a good situation with Elite, that it gave me everything that I needed, more tools than I thought ever existed in the world. Most of the strategies that we have at Elite, I've never even heard of before being here. And So I went out and I now target on a regular basis doctors, dentists, and veterinarians. That's just my target market. I have my own dentist as a client. I have my own daughter's orthodontist as a client. And working with them, both of them needed to be brought to a new CPA because the CPA that they were working with was not proactive, was not forward-looking, was total compliance-oriented, got the job done that they needed done, thought the clients thought they were saving as much money as they possibly could. And when I showed them one idea, it just opened their eyes up. And then when it came to everything else, including estate planning that they knew they needed, but didn't really know how to approach and how to incorporate all of these parts of their financial life together, they think of me as a big help. And so when I walk into the office, I'm like the king when they're working on my daughter. And when I need a dental appointment, it's days away for a cleaning instead of weeks or months. So they love me.
Great. Yeah, it's having a full tool belt versus just a handful of solutions.
So this morning, one of the other discussions, I don't know if you got a chance to see it or not, but we were talking about kind of two of the most important things that from our perspective we see when advisors come in and just have a hard time or maybe give up early versus the advisors, I'd say like the three of you that have been working, with us from anywhere from 2 years to coming on 4, 5, 6 years for Stephen, and have actually done a great job of implementing the model, and your business has been impacted by that. So one of those is just the foundational skills to be able to sit down in front of a CPA, in front of a ideal client, communicate with them, and then also the mindset that kind of goes with that. I'd be curious to know from your perspectives, first of all, any comments on the importance of both refining and developing your skills, and the importance of mindset, looking at your journey over the last, few years and how your business has developed. Would you say those are very important? And also, is there anything else you would add to that list?
I would like to jump in front of Kate and Justin and just say this. I want to say thank you very much to Ken and Anton and the whole team. The process works. Stick to the process. Don't deviate from the process. Don't think that you're smarter than the process. Don't think that you can cut corners with the process. I don't know what was spoken about this morning because I missed it. I was out taking a large life insurance application, the only person-to-person meeting that I've had during COVID, but I was out in Brentwood in a client's house where he lived next door to Dennis Quaid on one side, and next on the other side was Luol Deng, a former NBA player. And it's the only appointment that I took since March, but I was happy to go today. The mindset that I have is that, number one, I am interviewing a CPA to be my partner and me to be his partner. It's really a job interview when I go through the first 2 meetings at the very least, and I'm trying to qualify him to see if he actually has what it takes to work with me. I know what I have is going to benefit him. I know he may not understand that, but I'm going to take the time to help him understand that if he has the qualifications. And those qualifications are well delineated within the training. The training has everything that you need. Now, as to what it took for me to get my first relationship, it took me 8 months. I went through more than 45 different appointments with CPAs before I found the right one that I wanted to work with, that also wanted to work with me. Now, I met a lot of people. I bought a lot of lunches, and every one of them was worth it. My very first case just from the CPA was taking $1 million rollover. His own account, after he did a CIQ, we discussed a few things. And then after that, I got 2 more from 2 clients that he really had a good relationship with, and he knew what their situation was. So it was well worth it. The mindset that I have and the understanding of what he does was really important. You really need to understand what their mindset is as well, so that you know where they're coming from and what they're looking for. And the very first thing you need to understand is that they're looking at you. You're a financial advisor. You want to come and sell mutual funds and life insurance to his clients. What is in it for him? Why should he do this? And those are the things that you keep in the back of your mind while you're going through the process and sticking to the script. And believe it or not, if you do those things and stick to the script, you will find the right relationship. It may take you 4, 5, 6 months, which is why the 2-track method is important, but you will find it because they are out there. There are many of them out there.
You know what my biggest problem is, guys, or what it was, is shutting off the sales mode.
Mhm.
And that was, I mean, that was really hard to like basically take a couple of years and say, I'm not going to try and sell anybody anything. I'm just going to try and help these CPAs get their business right, you know, and be their coach. And like going from stopping selling, I mean, that's basically what I had to do, you know, for a while. I was still running my own business and selling there, but you're not going to the CPA and expecting to make a whole bunch of sales right away. You got to build a really great relationship where you have to be their coach. You know, they can't perceive you as someone who just wants to come in and sell their clients a bunch of stuff. It's like talk about a mind shift, you know.
It's a good statement there, Justin. And Stephen, I'll just reiterate, it's the process. You know, one of the things that I found is that the CPAs really like process. They run process in their business. And if you're showing them that, a lot of us, at least a lot of the advisors I know, we tend to be a little bit of shoot by the hip, you know, in terms of going after a client. And I think following the process, like you stated, Stephen, is extremely important because they want to see a process. They want to know how it fits for their clients, and then how it fits in their business. That really starts to create success. And like you stated, Justin, I'll second that as well. As we have to think of ourselves more as a coach and helping them, a coach to help them provide more value for their clients versus a salesperson.
You are the educator. You are the one with all of the tools. These tools benefit them and benefit their clients. And what's important to them is how you can benefit their clients. They probably do it for free if they could just help their clients. That's the difference between them and us. We're looking at what is the commission, what is the GDC. They're looking at how can it help my client. And then what they get paid is secondary, if not even tertiary. So keep that in mind. And it is just about the process. And you're giving them a platform where they have a turnkey family office. So keep that in mind. And you're just the educator to help bring them along to where you need them to be.
Well said. So some of the things, hopefully everyone that's listening right now is kind of recognizing some of the discussions this morning, and we talked about, right, not selling, pulling the information, also leading, thinking about a coach. The coach is leading the relationship. We talked about a lot about leadership this morning and the importance of building that relationship. You have to trust a coach. You have to believe they're doing the right thing for you, and that takes a relationship. So really great comments so far. I'm seeing a couple questions come in, one of which is, Stephen, you referenced the 2-prong approach or the 2 paths. A couple questions are just asking, what were you referencing there when you talked about the 2 tracks?
What I was talking about is really what's in the training about keeping your own business going while you go out and meet with CPAs. In the sense that what Justin was saying, he said he had to do the selling in his own business, but no selling to the CPAs. That's a distinct difference. My different path was that I actually was going out finding new business owner clients, and I chose a strategy within the ERT platform to use to reach out to those CPA or to those business owners. And my goal was ultimately to get to their CPA, to meet with their CPA and maybe get a new relationship. And sometimes that meant bringing the client to a new CPA because the CPA relationship they had would not have been a good one for me.
Very good. Very good. So questions coming in here about what does this ultimately look like? And they're asking, so you've got some opportunities moving, you've closed some business, you've gathered some assets, you've got some CPA relationships. Where does this go for you? Everybody only has so much time in the day. Ultimately, where does this go? maybe Kate, I'll start with you if I could, because I know you've actually made some moves in the last couple months kind of in that direction.
Okay, perfect, Anton. Where we're going, because we're starting to develop a lot more of the CPAs and getting them into the process, is we're actually adding additional advisors to our team to be able to make sure that we're properly servicing all of the CPAs that we're looking to bring on board. So that's our, going back to our original mission, is to impact and improve the financial lives of others. We want to have as broad a reach as we can. The more we can provide these systems and the thought processes to the language to other advisors within our team and our structure, we can actually impact more lives. So that's kind of the direction that we're going this year. When we laid out our business plan, and that was it. So
adding other advisors to your team. Justin or Stephen, any comments on that? Where is this going for both of you?
I
For
see
us,
myself along the same path for the next few years. I don't have any desire to change it. I can moderate how much I do versus a lot versus a little. I have a family friend who is a staff accountant, or was a staff accountant for a firm, and she's leaving to start her own business. And her sister is an insurance agent within WFG. I'm looking to bring them on under my umbrella and change what they do completely and expand what it is I do, and just help them develop what it is that they need first, and then bring them into this model so that I can leverage their time and their ability and maximize it for myself.
I have to get the CPAs to take the foot off the brake pedal, okay? The reason it's on the brake pedal is because they're too busy. The reason they're too busy is because they have too many clients. They're wasting all their time on $150 returns when we could be making hundreds of thousands of dollars working on one client. So my game plan is to get some stuff across the finish line, get some revenue into the CPA firm so that we can start firing the F clients. We've went through a process with the CPAs. We've taken them through the Biz 1 and the Biz 2 diagnostic. We've identified, and they've identified, that they know they need to do this. So we've graded the clients. They got their A clients, B clients, C clients, even the F clients. Those are the ones we're firing first. And as we bring on a new A client with some new revenue, we're going to get rid of some time wasters. And I think that's our strategy, is trying, because I got to free up their time. If I want to move any faster than I'm moving now and grow my business, I have to get them to grow their business. And part of being a coach is, focusing on them more than you're focusing on, I think that's what has to happen, because these CPAs they don't have any time, and they're helping their people, but you can't have 800, you can't have 1,000 clients. And we got to figure out a way to get them to, reduce their workload so they have got more time to spend with us.
Yep. So what have you seen with them so far, Justin? Because I know just over the last year or so, there's been some opportunities. You've closed some business. You've helped increase their bottom line. What did that experience do to their belief, their vision, their trust? Are you seeing any evolution there?
Definitely, yeah. It's changed. Every year is better from a trust standpoint. They're letting me in. They're telling me more things.
Okay.
I feel like I'm part of their meetings a lot of the time. So I feel like I'm a big part of their business, even though I don't own any of it. That's the whole thing. It's like it takes a long time to build the relationship up to a trust level enough to where you get a list of all of their clients. That took forever. That took I think we did that this spring, or maybe it was last summer. But I thought this was going to be way faster than it was. And I think a lot of advisors on this call were thinking maybe this was going to be a 6-month project. It's a little longer than that because you kind of have to, build a really great relationship with the firm before you get in with, before you get that trust built up high enough. But man, is it worth it,
Yep, I think that's well said. And I like, again, going back to what Stephen was discussing, and I know what Kate's done a good job in her practice of doing is keeping in mind we'll call it the 2-track opportunity, right? Where if you're going to do it right and you're going to build really good relationships with CPAs to the point where they trust you, they're introducing you to not only their average clients, but their best clients. You can have an email address if you want with their firm. You can have an office at their office if you want. That takes time, like Justin's saying, that relationship, that trust takes time. Meanwhile, while we are developing that, look for the opportunities to take the tools, the specialists, the strategies, and apply them to your own conversations, whether those are with prospects or with clients, and take advantage of what we've built here to kind of impact your business and generate additional revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kate, any additional thoughts on that, or?
No, I agree 100% with that, Anton. And Stephen said you got to have the dual tracks, because you can't push the CPA or you'll push them away. You have to pull them and nurture them along. So you really need to keep your own business going. It means that you're going to be pushing yourself a little bit. You got to time block. You got to really focus on some of those things so that you can nurture the relationships and continue to, you've got to feed the family. You got to take care of yourself. So let's make sure we're doing that. And, as we've all stated, we've got a plethora of tools that weren't available to us before. What a fantastic time to go back to a client and talk about how we've continued to expand. We now have a team of specialists, from across the nation that can help us and bring some value to you. We all know our clients. Well, we know what they need. Now we can take and say, hey, for instance, we now have somebody that can help us out with that will and that trust that we needed to do. You bought that building last year. Let's get a cost segregation going for you to be able to create some more value. And then, as Stephen stated, then you can maybe make your way into their CPA a little bit, but it's all of those. Go on the track, keep yourself alive, and then, I say pull versus push the CPA towards what they can do.
Yeah, very well said. Question coming in: what is your approach to a prospect on your own, not from a CPA?
There's so many different ones depending upon where you want to go with it. I was just driving home from my appointment this morning, and I'm looking at tons of commercial office buildings that are for sale. This new COVID thing has made it so that people are comfortable working from home. Well, guess what that does for a commercial business space? It means that a lot of people don't need it. And so what are you going to do? There's all these signs, contact this broker so that you can talk about buying this building or that building. Guess what? They can put some more money in their pocket just by cost segging their commercial building to carry them over to when they might sell it. Then it's something that they can do, or that the buyer can do also, cost seg the same building and put some money into their pocket and make a difference in what it is the purchase price is going to be. That's just an idea. If you want to, I talk to my dentist, hey, I'm sitting in the chair with the tool in my mouth. Do you think you're paying too much in taxes? When's the last time you looked at how much you're paying in taxes? Would you like me to look and see if I can save you any taxes? I mean, it's really simple to start with just those two ideas. And you can very easily go to a cash balance plan or a 412(b)(3) defined benefit plan with those professionals, or do a cost seg on a commercial building owner. And you have one strategy there. There you're doing exactly what I said. Don't do with the CPA's clients, but you're doing that for yourself. And maybe you'll even get to meet their CPA and take him through the process. So those are tools and resources that are available to you. The specialists are available to you. The videos are available to you for you to learn. But honestly, the world is wide open to you with all of the different resources that ERT has for you.
Well said.
Yeah, it's harder to get the client to do it when they've got their CPA and their attorney saying, don't do it. I don't know what that is. You know, you should really get with their CPA and attorney first and explain to them what this is so that, you know, they're not on the defense.
That's what brought me to ERT.
Exactly.
Why do we need our ERT? I mean, without ERT, we'd have a bunch of awesome strategies and we wouldn't be able to implement any of them because we don't have the CPA on our side. So that's why this model is so valuable. You know, we have to, that's the thing we have to do is go out and develop relationships with CPAs because it'll improve the closing ratio.
For you, just as we're thinking about this, Stephen, you brought up the impact of COVID on commercial real estate, but let's take a step back and talk about just the impact of the last 6 months or so overall on this model, and any thoughts that you have on how this will be affecting things moving forward. Either
Working virtual is great.
virtual, that's a huge one, isn't it? Because both of you, I think, Kate, you already said you're developing a relationship in Texas. Stephen, you said you're working with 2 CPAs virtually.
One in Georgia, one in Utah. And never met them personally, was hoping to bring them to the June ERT event, and that didn't work out. And so we're still waiting for the time where we can get together and meet. But we haven't needed to. And now clients are comfortable working virtually. Who wants you in their home? Who wants to go to your office?
Yeah.
And so it's just great working virtually. And you'll see that many businesses are finding that they no longer need that large space that they had. I mean, I read yesterday about a newspaper closing down its newsroom. Why? Because everybody's working remotely from home, getting the same job done. So yeah, virtual is probably the biggest thing where you can actually maximize your time. And if you're in Southern California, the last thing you want to do is take 3 hours to drive 30 miles. So yeah, virtual makes a big difference, and it's a cost saving factor for some, and it's a money losing factor for others. For every plus, there's a minus somewhere. But you can find a way to help all of those people using the different changes that are occurring because of COVID.
The CPA that I met over lunch today actually mentioned how he's wanting to travel more, and he's trying to find clients remote. And I said, well, now you can, and I talked about how we work remotely with a lot of our CPAs and clients, and he was so excited about that. He goes, I can work from anywhere now. This is perfect.
That's huge, isn't it? I think there is, we talked about it earlier, people becoming more comfortable doing virtual. I mean, like we just said, this is the first time the 4 of us have sat down and done a virtual panel.
Yes.
It certainly is a sign of the times. And what about, the impact of going virtual, PPP, the impact on the businesses, in the discussions with the CPAs, are you seeing that they're more open to accepting some of the suggestions or leadership that, Stephen, we go back to 2014. I mean, 2014? Yes. Wow. But the conversation has certainly changed, hasn't it, over the last few years? I mean,
Totally,
from my experience, people are more open.
Yes, agree 100%. With COVID and the PPP and business owners not knowing anything, I know even less than what they knew, but we had the resources here through ERT to bring everyone through. I got a business owner, one business owner, $4 million. I got my sister-in-law even a few thousand from things that I learned from this. And it's just different, a different world. And I like the way that the ERT model continues to evolve. It doesn't stay static.
What other questions do we have? I'll just kind of pause for a moment. I see some comments that my audio is kind of going in and out. I'll keep an eye on that, but I'm using the computer audio now versus the lavalier.
Good now.
It's good.
Okay. I'm not making this question up, but it's a funny one. I think Nadia knows what I'm about to ask. All right, Inyi is asking, do you run all your business through Elite? What does your love affair with the Elite infrastructure entail? Justin does not, Kate and Stephen both do. Any comments on any of the other question there?
My love affair with Elite is because the people there are just awesome. And truly, I can get anything that I want done. And being able to reward them for what it is they've given me is important to me.
I'll second that in that you're working with a team that is out there to help your business, not hold it back, versus, you know, I know some people are with, you know, broker dealers or firms that tend to put a lot of roadblocks about what you can talk about, what you can do. Elite's here to support us, to support the business owner, to support the CPAs, to create, you know, fantastic value for them. And that's what's important to me, is to work with really great people, and everybody at Elite is on the same page and has great values and is out there to basically make it a better world.
Yeah, we all have the same goals.
Yep.
Understand each other's position, and we're all here to help. Here to help them, they're here to help us. And we're all here to help you all too. So use the Facebook group, use the question and answer calls. Definitely here to help.
And I'll second that, Stephen. You were a great help to me when I initially started. I jumped on all those calls, and you were more than helpful. So thank you.
My
Yes,
pleasure.
same here, Stephen. You've been fantastic.
I think it's you and Dave Dorr, Mr. Burgess, going back to 2014. I love it.
Andy. Andy.
Andy Bowen.
Yeah,
You
it was just after.
It would be fun. It would be very chaotic, but we could have 15 people on this panel discussion right now. You know, and we try to alternate. So if you go back and watch recordings, you'll see other members, other advisors, other accountants. We try to keep introducing you to get just different perspectives and insight. I will also say, so let's see, about running business. Enyi, that's right. We started back when we first met, Stephen, we were purely a training company, right? We started a resource team, online training, and that's it. That's what we offered. And I think actually it was Dave Dorr who came to us and said, you know, I would be interested. I'm working with this IMO. They don't understand anything you guys are talking about. I'd be interested in running some insurance business through you guys if you'd be willing to support me with some of these strategies that you're teaching me about. And so that evolved eventually into a lead assurance team. And then maybe a year ago or so, a conversation started a year and a half ago around just a lot of advisors having issues with their RIA and getting that approved with compliance. And so we went through the process of starting a SEC registered RIA. So most of you that are on the line, you will only ever know of our main company, Elite Resource Team, but the other companies have developed as a result of the relationships with advisors that have been coming through the training who've basically said, my current relationships don't understand or don't support some of what you've built. And ultimately, we would like to be able to facilitate, like Kate said, and really create as much change and as much impact for these industries as we can. And whatever we have to do or build along the way, we'll do it. So that's where we are. Let's see what other questions we have. Okay, yeah, we can definitely. Bruce, I think that's a question maybe from a case where we could look at with the flow chart. Bruce is just kind of asking about, I'll ask the three of you if you have any insight or comments on this, you're welcome to. He's saying, I'm confused about the casework with Elite. I don't sense that there is a coordinated casework process. Yes, the CIQ and the review, but I don't get who leads from there. Are you waiting for me to come back, and to whom, or is my partner and mentor on a day? Who is my partner and mentor on a daily basis? So maybe I'll just ask that question to kind of the three of you. How do you handle your kind of case process?
I mean, the process is super spelled out. I mean, with the CIQ and the biz diagnostics, it's all, I mean, you couldn't have a better process than what we have. And it keeps us on pace with where we're at. I mean, there's map 1, map 2, map 3, all the way through map 5, you know, introducing the client to this, you know, getting to know them through the CIQ process, introducing the specialists, implementation. It's all spelled out in in the process. So, I mean, and that's what is so valuable to the CPA, you know, is knowing where we're at in the process. And I can tell them, I can say, well, we're right here. You know, we're map 4. We're about to implement this strategy. We're on hold with the other ones. It's all already built.
Justin, you're speaking about the mastermind program, which a lot of these people aren't familiar with. But the regular ERT program has exactly the same flow chart and exactly the same direction, and has scripts for each meeting that you need. So let's just say the client that I met with today came from a CPA because he's got a liquidity event coming in, and they wanted to know how to best handle a $35 million liquidity event that's going to be fully taxable. And so guess what? We did a little bit of research starting with the CIQ with the client, realized that he didn't have pretty much anything other than a successful business, because guess what? That was his life. He didn't know how to do anything else and didn't have the resources for anything else. So guess what? We did a business valuation with this particular client. From the business valuation, he knew exactly what it was worth and whether he was going to be getting enough money with this liquidity event coming up in about 2 years. And he's planning 2 years in advance. Well, guess what? He has other assets and income that were just sitting out there. He's taking money from his business for himself for his retirement, but it was just sitting in the bank and in a brokerage account, not properly structured. So you go ahead and you structure that. Oh, wait, he doesn't have any type of estate plan, nor does he have a succession plan for his business or an exit strategy for his business. So then you go ahead and work at that, and you bring the necessary specialists involved and the necessary attorneys involved. And then ultimately, you capture assets under management, and you end up with a nice large life insurance policy for his future estate plans. And everything just comes together by following the script. It's all in the training. And I'm just saying that if you're missing that, maybe we need to go back over the training. Be happy to do that on a Tuesday call at 9 o'clock Pacific time.
Yeah, and you know, some of the feedback might be, because I remember as we were really starting to formalize the process and speak about it on calls, it can be a bit overwhelming at first, and maybe the confusion comes from the fact, like you said, it is spelled out, and it takes a little bit of time to actually experience that. Because what I'm hearing you go through, Stephen, is, to me, it makes complete sense, and it's real life experience, and you've done it multiple times. And same with Justin, you've probably had a few dozen meetings with CPAs and clients, would you say? And so
Right.
once you get in there and take it from A to Z, I think it does become a very well laid out, clear process. But it's not something as simple as like how to sell an annuity, you know, or something as cookie cutter as that. When you do get
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah, but I think one of the differences too is the fact that it's a holistic approach to the client with the CIQ, and that you're learning about everything. You aren't just trying to find out if there's a life insurance need, if there is an annuity sale, or if there isn't assets. You're looking at the whole picture, and then you're going to get a lot of input and data. Now you actually have to, you know, think and be an advisor and start helping them prioritize what you believe, and then what they feel is most important to do first, second, and third. So it's not, okay, hey, we need to do these 6 things right now, especially with the CPA relationships. They're going to want to do one at a time. It's not, you're not going to, even though there's 3 urgent needs, they're going to pick one, and that's okay. Work on that one.
You're going to let them either decide which one you start with, or you're going to tell them why you shouldn't start with that one and go with another one. but that's where the CPA is going to earn his money in this relationship as well. That's where he's going to also learn and be brought along. And once he's up to speed with all the different strategies that we have, it'll become even easier for that.
Right. And that's mastermind or not mastermind.
Right.
You know, you take that list and start then work with the client to prioritize, whether it's just straight with a client or with the CPA and the client.
Well said. And really, again, what we're getting back to, and I'm hearing all of you kind of emphasize, is you are the lead of the process, right? You're the one that is leading the CPA and the client, and you're coordinating with the specialist through the process. Would you say you would all definitely agree with that? The main responsibility and opportunity is to lead the relationships.
Not only am I the leader, I am the value in this process that the CPA and the client are going to benefit from. I am the person, I am the key, and I set myself up that way. This is not something that they're going to be able to go and duplicate somewhere else because they don't have what I have. They don't have me. And I made that important in the way that I set this relationship up. They don't have my tools without me. They don't have the experience without me. And knowing where to take things from A to B to C to D is what I do, and that's why I'm there.
Mm-hmm. That's why you're the lead.
Exactly.
That is a very good example, this discussion overall, of the strong foundational understanding of the model, which is why I opened with that this morning. The best tax season survival kit can get you in front of 30 CPAs, but unless you understand the process and who's leading the process, you will not build a successful relationship with those CPAs. They might say yes if you know the scripts well, but ultimately you have to really master and have a good foundational understanding of the model. Another question came in about, from your perspective, what would you say is the main trigger or motivation for the CPAs or the enrolled agents that you're working with to work with you? What helped them to have that aha moment?
I mean, they've been losing some of their bigger clients to other firms because they weren't able to implement what they were asked to implement. You know, some of these larger clients, like with one of my guys, his name is Tim. I mean, that's what he told me. He said, it's interesting that you walked into my office because we just had somebody that went to a different firm because we couldn't deliver what is on the list of things that you say you can deliver. So it was kind of a cool timing thing for me that that happened. But I think that's one of the big things. They want to be able to deliver the value to their best clients.
Yeah.
My experience is that not only do they want to deliver the value to their best clients because they're afraid of losing them, they want to deliver the value to their best clients because it's something that they have not been able to do in the past. Now they're able to do it. And again, like I say, working with me allows them to be a turnkey family office with a ton of strategies and somebody to work with them, to help them, coordinate them, pat them on the back when they make the right decision, turn them around when they are not making the right decision, and make sure that it gets done correctly for their clients. And for most CPAs, making sure that it's done correctly for their clients is the most important thing for them. And if they can add something to the compliance work, it's always a plus. If they can get paid for it, that's also there, but it's not their most important motivation. It's doing something for their clients to make sure that, number one, their clients are better off, and number two, they get to keep those clients.
And I'm just going to reiterate that, Stephen, because of the fact that, especially when people are new into the process, they start thinking that the CPA is in it because, oh yeah, they're going to get paid now too. And that's absolutely not true. From everything that I've seen in my experiences that I've had, is they are there to create more value for their clients. That's what they're excited about. I mean, just step back and think about the fact that they're still willing to work at 11 o'clock at night for a $150 tax return. They're all about other people and creating value for other people. That's their DNA of who they are. So we need to keep that in the forefront of our mind. If we're there to help them create more value for their clients, and then just a side aspect of that, as you do that, you're going to get to be able to spend more time working with the clients that you want to, because you don't need to add all these additional clients in.
Well said. Well said. I'm thinking we are getting close to wrapping it up, but I would love to know any last thoughts, related or unrelated to anything we've discussed, from the three of you for, you know, the 160 people we have with us here this afternoon. Any closing thoughts or advice for them?
I'm going to steal Stephen's thunder and say it's the process.
It's the process, it's the process, it's the process. And when it's not, it's still the process. I would say my biggest tip is to build an elevator speech. Understand what your elevator speech is and what it does and what it doesn't do, and use it. It'll get you places with business owners. It'll get you places with CPAs. It'll get you meetings with CPAs that you might not have gotten if you use it properly.
Love it.
I just got a call from my CPA. I had to hit, I told him I'd call him back later. It's like a daily occurrence now. Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? So it takes a lot of work, guys, but you'll get to the point, you find the right CPA that has the right mindset, that has the right clients, and it can be a really awesome thing.
Well said. You know, and hopefully if you're on right now, you kind of get this sense from me. I love honesty and transparency, and I appreciate the candidness of saying finding good CPAs takes work, right? But also, let's be honest, building anything of value takes work. If it wasn't hard, if it didn't take work, everybody would be closing 6- and 7-figure cases. Everybody would be managing tens of millions or hundreds of millions of assets. Everybody would be generating 7 figures of revenue, having advisors bringing into their business under them. So welcome, you know, this is the pros. It takes work to get to the pros.
I'm gonna change that word and say that it's not work, because you and Ken have already done the hard work. It just takes discipline. Follow the model and follow the steps. Just get it done and it will pay off.
I'd second that. Yeah, the process works. Why reinvent it? Just go out there and implement it.
Right. And I always liked Zig Ziglar's statement of you want to count the number of failures. How many no's can you get? Because the more no's you get, the better yeses you're going to have.
Yep. Well said. Very good. All right. Well said. I think I'm seeing a lot of comments just appreciating this. Stephen, I got one last question maybe for you. This might be a good one to end on. Elevator pitch? Elevator speech?
Elevator pitch, elevator speech, I don't know. I work with CPAs by providing them the training and resources to bring more value and significantly better outcomes to their clients. The way I do that is by providing those CPAs a platform that I lead with a multidisciplinary approach where the clients are brought through a process that's forward-looking, proactive, and it incorporates advanced tax planning, tax, estate law, management, and insurance in a real comprehensive and integrated manner that benefits those clients. Not for everyone, it might not be for you, but can I buy you lunch and spend 45 minutes and tell you about it?
Oh, love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Let's see.
I did, and I'm going to have to say I buy coffee, Stephen, because of the fact that if they're not qualified, I don't want to spend my lunch there.
Yeah. Good move.
Oh, good stuff. It's fun. I love seeing the three of you. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to do a round of applause here for you. And
for you guys.
if we're in person, I'm sure I'd get a few more, but I am seeing a lot of thank yous and hand claps and applauses. So good. I'm glad we did the poll, and I'm glad people requested that, because I enjoyed it. And it looks based on the comments so far that people enjoyed it as well. All right, very good. What do we got? We got a 15-minute break, and then we're coming back with advanced planning strategies. I believe that is what we are doing. Am I right?
Yeah, break from, yeah.
All right, very good. Kate, Justin, Stephen, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So we'll take about a 10-minute break. We'll be back here and jump into some advanced planning strategies. Thanks, guys. You rock.